that know this much about website security, specifically WordPress, and all of our websites are vulnerable. It's just a matter of keeping things up to date so that we're not an easy target. Has anybody ever been hacked into your...
Well, I've been infected.
Okay, have your websites been infected?
I don't have my own personal
like
website,
malware,
but
kind of?
my computer, yeah.
Oh, your computer. Oh, that's awful. Yeah,
That's been a long time ago.
That's just as bad or worse.
You know, I never
worse.
had any problems until at that time I went on DSL, and boy, I got infected the very first week, so I just dropped it.
Oh, holy
I've never
crap.
had any problems since then.
Well, the truth is that, okay, I'm just going to ask you a question, and you probably already are going to know the answer. Can you protect your site, lock it down, and know that it's absolutely 100% safe?
No.
No. And you are correct. You get the
got a
man
prize?
refrigerator.
You got a prize?
Yes. That's beyond door number 1.
Here's the bubble gum.
So, yes, and it's just like our home. So I have a security system that I activate. It is monitored. I have dogs. I have a gate. I have all, a lot of us, we have all this stuff. But if somebody really wants in, they're going to get in. They'll come over the gate, they'll shoot the dog, they'll break in. They may not have very much time because the alarm's going off, but if they know what they want, they can do damage in a very short amount of time. This website's the same kind of thing. You have all these securities that we're going to talk about building today and how easy some of them are to do, yet very, very few percentage-wise sites are secured to this level. But there's always somebody out there jiggling the locks. Is this one easy to open? Is this one easy? This one's easy. So we just make ourselves not easy.
Do you stand behind WordPress though as a website developing?
Oh sure. Oh
to
yeah.
use?
Oh absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's a great platform. So what is WordPress? WordPress and WordPress has a bad name a little bit because people don't take the time to learn what you're going to learn today to keep their site secure. So WordPress is an open source platform, and within WordPress originally it was built for blogging, so just pages and words and simple pictures, all of that. And then it developed into a full-fledged web tool where we have plugins that allow us to do certain things. We have templates that give us beautiful styling, so we can have gorgeous fonts, different colors, and all of that, and it all fits together and makes a website. So WordPress being the core of it, allowing us to have words and format pages and all that kind of stuff. So, because WordPress is so easy, and it's very popular, and this is what makes it an easy target. So this is one statistic. There's over, I forget how many, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of WordPress websites out there in the world today, right? This is a study that was done last August. 70% of all of those WordPress installs, 70% are not updated. Somebody just throws up a little website, they're like, oh, I have a website, yay! But they never go back to update anything, and so immediately, within the first week, they're vulnerable. I mean, it's just so easy to hack in. Okay, so why do hackers hack? I've always wondered, why are you doing this? So, for the larger targets, unlike us, that have lots of money or e-commerce behind them, that sort of thing, let's talk about like a larger company. If a hacker took over the website, and this happens, and then they get an email that says, guess what, we have control of your site. So in order to, if you want control back, just wire the money over here. It's as simple as that. So they hold site hostages. The more common is, especially for the less valued targets, like most of us, here, probably most of us in this community actually, is that they just redirect traffic to other commerce sites. So it could be redirected to pornography sites. It's very common. You know, Gucci bags, knockoff brands, that kind of stuff. So somebody who thinks they're going to your site, they go into the URL, they click on it, and they end up somewhere else. Yeah, living life and paying big cell
It's
phone
like a
bills.
great big walkie-talkie, right?
It's like a great big walkie-talkie. Yeah, exactly. So
Boy,
these
if you had
guys.
to carry one around in that canvas bag.
Yeah, that's right. Get your bursitis in your shoulder. So what these guys did, the very first hackers, and I've seen interviews with them. You know, and they're older guys now. They just were interested in technology. How does this work? Can I scam the phone company? And what they found out was they could use certain tones to get through and make free long distance calls. And they were like, check it out. And you can Google it on YouTube, and you can find there's like a online news report, like a 2020 type thing on interviews on these first hackers, and they called them phone freaks, P-H-E-R-E-A-K-S or something. It was a weird spelling. Anyway, these guys were just like, we were just curious. We were just curious. Well, if you take that a step further, I mean, like you look like at a little boy, and you're like, oh, isn't he a genius? We just gave him a radio for Christmas, and he's taken it all apart and put it all back together again. That's like hacking. I'm just curious how this works. I'm going to take it all apart. I'm going to figure it out, put it back together. Some of the greatest minds, and some of the reasons we have the internet and computers are because of people who think like that, right? But then used in the wrong way,
Do people not take things
they're
apart?
hackers. What's that?
Do people not normally take things apart to figure out how they work?
I think some people, just don't care. So you sound like you're one that you likes to take things apart.
And put them back together just to know how they work. I'm
Exactly.
not a mechanic though, so I mean.
Yes. Okay. There you go. There you go. You might be a good hacker. So for fun and enjoyment. But most of the hacking is just done by these bots. They're automated scripts. They're little pieces of code that are just working their way around the internet, and they know what vulnerabilities might be out there. For example, if somebody didn't update the last WordPress version, so there's a little bit of code that seeks out those websites, and they know exactly how to hack in. I mean, there's just tons of these little bots out there. So this would be, this is an example of a notification that once you get this, this plugin that I'm going to show you today, and you say, okay, you know what, when somebody's jiggling the locks, I want to know. And this is the kind of notification you would get. Similar to like an alarm going off if you had a security system at home. Dear site admin, this IP address, this host at this IP address, just tried to get in, but because of the security you put in place, guess what, they're locked out. But, that gets me to look into my back end, and I, just take a look, and I go, you know what, I'm going to lock that host out permanently. So,
Can I take a picture of that?
Sure. Yeah.
It's easier to show my boss. Her eyes aren't here.
And you can find out where the IP address originated just by clicking on that link. A lot of them are China, Russia, Indonesia, and that's where the servers are located. However, some of my clients, I saw a rash of these related IP addresses. They were related by the last numbers in the IP address, a whole series of them. And the host was located in Seattle. How about that? Oh my goodness. So there are companies, this one company in particular that of course I have contacted. They're in Tukwila. Their name is WowRack, W-O-W-R-I-C-K. They offer cloud hosting services and all these different kinds of services. Well, one of the things they do is they lease out IP addresses. So some of the IP addresses that they had leased out were being used to hack into a number of sites that I manage. So I'm like, okay, you need to get in touch with these people. Now, it could have been that their server was being used without their knowledge or hijacked. That happens all the time. Or it could be that they leased the IP addresses to people who should get a real job. I don't know. But, so what I did is I just added it to my blocked IP list, and so they can't get into anybody's site anymore. That's, you just take, you get notified and you say, okay, I'm gonna take some action now. And that's the beauty of this plugin, it's just wonderful.
IP address, like our web, or our WordPress page is through GoDaddy, is our like host page. That's like who we are paid through. Would that be like our IP address is through GoDaddy?
Yes, that's
Okay.
fair, yeah. Exactly. So, okay, a little bit about email, and we're going to talk about this too, because this is a problem that all of us know has existed for a long time, but it is a type of hacking where these bots look for email addresses on the internet, on the web, and they harvest them. That is the actual term. It's kind of an icky term, but they harvest these email addresses and use them however they wish, to spam usually. So, and these spammer bots love forms. So if you have a form on your website, that's another vulnerability. That's another spot that they'll just like, oh, I'm going to try to spam this form, and it's just crazy. So we're going to come back to that. So web hosting, what is a web host? So who do you host? Do you host through GoDaddy? Yeah, what?
I'm an employee of
Okay.
Humana Health Insurance,
Oh,
and so
okay.
they have their own network and everything.
Okay, all right. So Bluehost, HostGator, GoDaddy, those are some of the, there's lots and lots of hosts and different levels of security and services that go along with different price tags for all of these hosts. So it's important to know when you engage a host and you're paying them a monthly fee annually, what you're paying for and what type of security comes along with that level of hosting. And is it security that's just automatically that they take care of, or is it something that you have to actually take the time to activate and set up? So really important to understand that. A lot of people forget it. They just think, oh great, hosting, but forget about what security the host can provide in that. So important to ask. All right, so we have a website address, that's a URL, just like a street address. We have a host. We install WordPress. It is a software. We activate a theme, which gives us a style that we want. And that all together is what we call a website, a WordPress website. So these are a few things. If you are the one that is creating your website and choosing your URL, when you buy your URL, they're like $10, right? They're cheap. These hosts will always ask you, do you want to pay for privacy? It's an extra $10, and a lot of people are like, I'm not paying another $10. I'm already, And if you don't request privacy, your email address is immediately harvested. Immediately. And you're like, how come I'm getting all this spam all of a sudden? That's why. So, it's worth it. Pay for additional security at the host level, find out what they offer. If it sounds good to you, for an extra whatever, $5 a month or $20 a year, it's probably worth it. Don't put an email address on your website. I see this all the time. On the contact page, they'll just have their company email address or personal email addresses right there on the contact page. I mean, what a great way to have to find a new email address because you're getting so spammed you just can't even handle it anymore.
So what's the option? I mean, if you have a business and you want them to contact you when they email you, if you reply, they
You have a form. You have a little form they fill out. That's how you do it.
A form?
Or a phone number. Yeah. So they put in their name and they put in their email address and they say, I need some help with hearing aids for my dad. Can somebody please contact me? Did they give you your phone number?
And it sends it to your email.
And it sends
without
it to your
posting your email on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a link, right?
What's that?
A link to your email address?
No.
I can show you.
Yeah. And then, of course, you always have what's called CAPTCHA on the form. So, because these automated programs can fill out a form, that's really easy to do. But if they have to put in, some numbers or add 2 + 2 = 4, they can't do that. So, adding CAPTCHA, but adding CAPTCHA that's going to be acceptable to your target audience. Like, for example, if your target audience are elderly people, some of the crazy, most difficult CAPTCHA where you have to sort of like look at these 2 images, or numbers and letters are all smushed together and you can't even figure it out, and it keeps saying, sorry, you have to do it again, sorry, you have to do it again, and that's just not going to work. But finding something that's simple, like a simple math problem, or 4 letters and 2 numbers, something like that, works much better. May not be as safe, but you have to always balance the safety with the usability is really key.
And then that goes directly to that email when they post into that.
So the other thing is, a lot of us have. Do you have a blog on your? No. Okay. So I'll just mention this really quick. Just because I'll just pretend there's other people in the room that this applies to, because I'm going to do this class for others. So, you know how most blogs, you go to a company that blogs regularly or semi-regularly, and there you can fill in comments. I think this article is great. So for you people in the room that do that, if it's not a part of your business, or you're not going to, if blogging isn't your primary business, don't allow people to comment. Period. It's just another open door, that little open window, that these bots really love. Okay, so those are the really simple things. So we're going to spend the rest of the time talking about these 3 items. Protection, detection. That's an example of detection, is that Dear Site Admin slide I showed you. This IP address is trying to hack into your site. And then recovery. So what's the worst thing that can happen? Your site goes down. How do you get it back? How expensive that can be. Oh boy.
Call and yell at people.
What's that?
Call and yell at people.
Call and yell at people, right? Okay, so we're going to actually, in a minute here, I'm going to actually take you into this plugin and show you how it works. But before we get there, again, these are some really simple things. You don't need a plugin for these things. When you choose a theme for your WordPress site, choosing a free one may not be your best option. There's lots of free stuff out there. But I have read incidents of, well, you get what you pay for, basically, right? You get what you pay for. So if you're using a theme that you like and it's free, that theme developer isn't keeping things updated or has a vulnerability in that theme, and now you're just, you're starting from scratch. At some point, you will be starting from scratch. Guaranteed. Delete anything you are not using. When you start a new WordPress, when you install WordPress fresh, you're starting a new website, you have a lot of junk that comes along with it, just automatically. And half of this stuff, these plugins people don't use, but they leave in there, they don't leave them, or get rid of them. They give you all these free themes that just automatically load and they're just there. Again, people don't delete them. So I'm going to show you how easy that is. You can deactivate these plugins, and the themes aren't even activated, but just because they're there and you're not even using them and they're deactivated, they still present a vulnerability, an open window. You just need to delete them, delete all the files from the back end. And all of these things, everything that you use, all your plugins, your theme, and WordPress, they demand constant updates. There is not 1 week that you can log in and not see a notification that 1, 2, 3, or 5 things need to be updated. It's sometimes every day. So checking back, updating. You don't wait until all these things have been out of date for 3 weeks. You may already have a virus. You don't even know.
like once a week, we should, like, I haven't, but
Once a week.
once a week's okay now?
Yeah. There are some plugins that will say, do you want us to, not all do this, but some, the higher end ones, do you want us to automatically update this for you? So some of them will, I've seen that as a more recent thing. And there probably is a plugin that you can install that will automatically update, but it's good to go in once a week and take a peek. And back up your site regularly. We're going to touch on that. At the host level, there's some backing up, and again, depending on how much you're paying for your hosting. There are some hosts where you're paying $50, $100 a month, and they better be backing up your entire site every single night for that amount of money. So you can pay for that, or you get the cheapy version of hosting, and really you ought to be doing your own backing up. Because probably if something happens and you have to restore your site when you call, and you have to call the host to do it, they're going to charge you for that anyway. So if you can do it yourself, great. All right, so there's two ways to log into your website. One is through your host. So you log into your host, and then you find your way to your to this page. Or for most websites that are WordPress, you put your URL and then a backward slash and then a WP hyphen admin, A-D-M-I-N, WP hyphen admin. And it takes you to this login page. And there it is, right there. There's the URL. I just made this website up. gotmeawebsite.com/WP admin. This is the default for WordPress. So if I went to your site, for example, if this hadn't been changed, and very often they're not, I could find your login page. How easy is it for a bot to find this login form? It's a no-brainer. So the other default is WordPress gives you a username of admin, lowercase, A-D-M-I-N. So many WordPress sites. You can find the login form. You can type in admin, and then all they do is run a script, and they try to figure out the password. Now they're in. It's that simple. Oh my gosh, it's so simple. So we're going to talk about how to change this so it's not so simple. Isn't that crazy? But it's just like out there. So iTheme Security Plugin used to be called Better WordPress Security, and then last year, and in the fall, iThemes, which is a company sort of known for higher end WordPress plugins, education, that sort of thing, bought it and hired that developer. So they've sort of taken it to the next level, and they keep developing it. So that's really what we're going to spend the rest of the time talking about, is this particular plugin. All right. It's hot in here, isn't it? Is it hot here? Okay. So I haven't really added anything in here yet, but I just wanted to show you a couple of things before I delete this, and then I'm going to add it back again. So this is the name of that plugin. It's just iTheme Security. There's also iTheme Security Pro. That is a paid version of this plugin. Like that's what I use. So there are some advanced features that come with Pro, but really you can get 90% of what you need with this free version. So already there's an update, and guess what? I haven't. This plugin is deactivated. It's not active right now, and it's already telling me there's an update. So what problem do I have? Do I have a vulnerability? Why?
Because of the fact that it's deactivated and it searches that out.
Right. Yeah. So if I'm not going to, let's say I wasn't going to use this plugin, what should I do?
Delete it.
You want to delete it. So let's delete it. And then I'm going to get a question. Do you want to delete this and all the files and data? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I do. Goodbye. Okay, it's gone. Let's look at something else here that comes along with WordPress. And I've already deleted some of these, forgetting like, oh, I should have left that for the class. But anyway, I left one example. So there are usually, when you have a new WordPress, and actually this is true for people who have had WordPress for years and years because they don't know to delete things they're not using. So when you install WordPress, a fresh WordPress, you get like 3 or 4 of these different themes. There's 2014, there's 2012, there's 2010, and you'll see them all here under Appearance and Themes. They're just all sitting there, and you're like, what should I do with that? Oh, that's an interesting picture. But it's not clear. I mean, only if you hover over it, you get Activate or Live Preview. There's no delete button there, right? So like, I don't know what to do. I'll just leave it alone, I guess. So there, I'm going to click on it. And now once I click on it, what's over here? Delete. Delete. What should we do? Yes, you're right. We should delete. Go away. I'm not using this theme. Anything I'm not using, I don't want. I don't want to see it. Now you'll see there are 2 of these, and that's because with the type of themes that I pay for, I have the parent theme and a child theme. That's what they're called. So that's a whole other class, though. But for the themes that I use, I have 2 versions of the theme that I will always see. All right, so let's go to plugins, and let's go find that plugin and reinstall it, the iTheme Security plugin. And you'll see how easy they make this for you. It's pretty awesome. So we go to the plugins page, we add new. And I'm just going to, like, oh, I can't remember the name, but last year, remember, it was called Better WordPress Security, so I'm just going to type that in and see what I get. Better WP Security. Enter. All right, here it is, top 1. iTheme Security, formerly Better WP Security. Okay, I want to install that. Yes, I do. So it's going to take a minute to install here. Now, once I see this, then I have to activate it. So it's there. Now I can choose to activate. So I'm going to activate the plugin. And then you'll see what happens here. Okay, that's great. Now, down here on the side, I see security, and I go to the dashboard. So I'm going to click on the dashboard. This isn't my computer, so I'm not there. Okay. I'm not doing this right. Is that it? Okay, there we go. Whoops. Okay. All right. So this automatically, as soon as you go to the dashboard, the very first time on a fresh, when you're putting activating this plugin, you will see these important first steps, this screen. So the first one is this plugin allows you to make a backup. It's not of everything, it is just of your database, so just know that. But anytime you add a new plugin, you should back everything up. Anytime you make any major change, you will get warnings from a lot of these higher end plugins. They'll say, you really should back up before you take your next step. So anytime you see that, I would do that, back it up. So we're going to just, it's as simple as this, make a backup. Okay, it's making a backup. There's really nothing on the site yet, so it's not having to work too hard. Here it gives us the option of making file updates. So many of the functions of this plugin require editing of your wp-config.php. Would you like us to safely update these files for you automatically? Yes, of course. Anything you can do automatically saves me time and worry. When I click the next button, it's going to take care of some of the main vulnerabilities that I now have on this fresh install. And then I'll go through them and show you what those things were. So one-click secure, yes, I want to do that. help us improve. They just have a Google Analytics tracking on here so they can see how people are using it. You know, it's free, it's high end. You want to help them out, so it says help us improve. If you click here, they'll just track like how you're using it, and so that's all. It's good to you know, pay it forward kind of thing. So there we go. We're all done with the important first steps. Now we can go down here. I need a mouse. You. Having trouble scrolling here. Maybe I need a mouse. I don't know. Do you know how to? I'm gonna have to think. Oh, I'll just grab this. That's what I can do. Okay, here we go. All right. So your site is not performing any scheduled backups. That, remember when we talked about the backup part? There is a plugin that you pay for, worth every penny, called Backup Buddy. You can schedule your backups, whether it's just a database or a full backup. Does it automatically, emails you when it's done. You can restore files from it, though, oh my gosh, they make it so easy. And if your whole site went down, because you can send your backups to a remote location like Dropbox, or they give you one that you can use. This is called Stash, like I use, that you can restore your website from it if the worst thing happens.
That plugin to backup is called what?
Backup Buddy, and it's also an iThemes product. So we can't fix it. They're gonna suggest if we click here, fix it. They're gonna say right here, enable scheduled backups. Oh, okay. This isn't Backup Buddy. This is if they just database backups. So these aren't. This ultimately is really not what you want, because if you have your database and don't have all your plugins and plugin settings and theme and styling, you know, backup is fine. Whatever they give you for free, that's fine. But this isn't back. This comes along with iTheme security. It's just your database, which is important, but it's this piece of the puzzle, and the whole puzzle's this big. So okay, that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and do that. That's a good one. Might as well. Save. Please give me a mouse. Okay. Let's go down here and look at all the things that were already done by that one-click backup. All right, let's go here. Back to the dashboard is where we want to go, actually. Down here. Completed. So these are all the things that are done. The admin user has been removed and renamed. I'll show you that. Your login is protected. Your login area is protected from brute force attacks. That's because, remember when I showed you that login and I said the default is admin? Now it's something else. So those bots that just go looking for that's really simple, all I have to do is focus on the password. That's been taken care of. They call that a brute force attack, when they're going after that form over and over and over again using the word admin and just playing with the password. They in the website world, they call that a brute force attack.
I mean, how crazy and off the wall could a password be and still be hacked?
Any password can be hacked. Yes. It would take, again, it's the jiggling the locks. This one's hard, so I'm going to move on. There are plenty of easy passwords out there. Mom 123, 123456. Adobe got hacked. Adobe.com. Adobe. I am a subscriber to Adobe. I pay them every single month. So my password, along with, I don't know, was it 40,000? It was probably a much larger number than that. I can't remember. This was October of last year. And all our passwords and our, it was all encrypted and all that stuff. All of our passwords, credit card information was all compromised.
Wow. Bummer.
It's huge. But, stuff like that happens.
Does that person get caught though? I mean, were they able to catch that person, or is there's so much rerouting of their IP address that they can never be found?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Right. But all of us, of course, were scrambling. They're like, change your password! But they published, somebody went in, you can find this online, there's this crossword puzzle that somebody made. Because all these, whoever got those passwords published them online. And so you see some of these passwords, one of them's mine, very simple, so many of them, password. Many of them were just the word password. So, not that hard. But if you make it crazy, that's good, of course, because that's, the jiggling, it's too hard, let's move on. Hiding the form is even better, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. That's even better. That WP-admin, we're gonna change that to something else, so they can't find it through WP-admin. That's even better. I mean, you just add these layers of protection, so we're gonna do that. This program allows you to do that. Okay, so your login area is protected from brute force attacks. User nicknames are different from their display name. I'm going to show you that. Your WordPress installation is not telling every bot you use WordPress. Hey, we're using WordPress here. Come on over and play. User profiles for users without content are not publicly available. So these are all things like this plugin knows these are the vulnerabilities. So we're just going to take care of these ones for you. You don't have to think about it. Okay. But let's jump over to users really quick. And actually, I take it back. That initial thing that we did not change the user. Actually, I did that. I did that right here. Usually what you'll have when you get a fresh WordPress install is you'll see the word admin right here where it says MaxiMooch1. It'll just say admin. And so, and then it'll have your email address that you used when you created your account. And your first and last name and all that. Or sometimes it'll have, then somebody will, oh, I need to change that. So I already changed it from admin to MaxiMooch1, which got rid of that initial vulnerability. I did that. And so how you do that would be this. I wish I had my computer. Sorry, this is not my computer, so I'm at a bit of a... So I'm just going to go ahead and change this here. Let's say this said admin and not MaxiMooch1. All right, I need to get rid of that. I need to get rid of it right now. Plus, the very first user that is associated with your WordPress install is ID equals 1. It's like the first user ID. That's another vulnerability. Just having user ID 1 in and of itself. So you want to get rid of the first one. It's like the first pancake. I create this user so that I can log into my account, but the very first time I log in, I'm going to throw away that pancake, create a new login for myself. So that's what I already did here. But I'm going to get rid of this one too. So I'm going to go back to the users panel here, and I'm going to add a new user. So let's pretend that this was admin, that this just said admin, okay? So a username. Now here's one thing with the username, unlike other types of things, you don't have to have, you can have spaces in between words. Make it difficult. You want to make it difficult. So we're just going to say, let's come up with something, what was I thinking, like, I love candy canes. It could be anything. And 9. I love candy canes 9. I mean, that's crazy, right? Spaces in there. I'm going to have to use a different email address from the one that I just logged in with because it's going to tell me that I need to. So I'm going to use I'm going to use my Rebecca at Skagit Media Marketing. And my first name, and I don't have to do that now. Okay. website, don't need to do that. But password is required. I use LastPass, which is, there's a free and a paid version. LastPass is an online you can use it across all of your devices, it syncs across all of your devices, password vault. So I have so many passwords, I mean we all do really, right? So with LastPass, LastPass.com, you create an account, you create the only password that's really super, you want to have a good password to log into your vault. Once you are in your vault, you keep all of your passwords, and it's so awesome, this website, because you keep it activated anytime you're online. So let's say you go to a new clothing, you need to buy some clothes or whatever.
When you
Sporting
said
goods.
that it is able to go on all devices, so would it work
iPhone.
on an iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
What,
iPad.
you know how when you don't use your phone for a while, it closes or whatever, and then to reopen it, you need a password.
That's different.
Okay.
That's different. So this is an online, basically you have to download the app onto everything, but then it syncs across all of your devices. So like I have 2 computers at home, an iPad, and I have my iPhone. But wherever I am, I can access LastPass, and I can get my passwords, all my login information.
Except for,
Well, this one's really easy.
no, but I mean, well,
You
I
can
mentioned
put it
I
in
work
there.
for Humana.
You can put it
They
in
make
there.
us change our passwords like every 3 months.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they don't let you reuse the same password
okay.
in a 24-month period.
LastPass would make it easy on you then, because you'll have one place where it's kept, and you can just keep renewing it there so you don't get confused.
Okay.
But you have to remember your LastPass password.
You have to remember
let's
your
see.
LastPass password. You'd have to remember one password. That's the only one you have to remember.
I
One.
wish.
One.
But like when you take a phone, like an iPhone, and you want to get in, you slide the thing over, and then you have to enter a password
Yeah.
to get into your phone.
Yeah,
How would that work with this?
totally different.
Yeah, so you have to remember that.
That you have
password.
to remember.
You
So
basically
when you
just not
change
log
it-
into like your,
The problem is
don't
when
use
you
it.
change it every 3 months, and it won't let you reuse one that you've used in the last 24 months.
With LastPass, this LastPass is like, you go to a website and you want to download something, you want to buy something, you have to create an account, right?
Oh.
Okay, got it. Here's another account I have to make. You want a unique password. You don't want to use password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you have LastPass activated, it automatically knows because of what you're doing. It's like, oh, you're creating a new user account. So the software activates and it says, do you want us to create a password for you? Yes. Click. Crazy numbers, letters. Do you want this? Yes. Click. It automatically saves that information in your LastPass vault. It's so simple! But you do have to remember the one to log into your vault. That's it.
But who tracks this? I mean, could a bot get into this and then just have everybody's passwords?
Everything's
everything?
encrypted. Possibly. It's all encrypted.
But you trust this app?
I do. Yeah, I mean, and because it is a lot of people that in the web world and the software world that I respect use this app.
Okay.
So it's been reviewed by lots and lots of, and used by lots and lots.
But this is the symbol for it? This is the right one?
That's it, with the red and the like the circle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. There are other ones out there. There's one called KeyPass. It's a little more user. There's more things that you need to do. It's open source kind of thing. I have developer friends that use that too. So anyway, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to say, see, I really love LastPass because LastPass will show up here and it'll just go click, click, and then I've got this crazy long, weird password, hard,
That you know
automatically, and I don't have to worry about remembering it. So I'm looking at this going, ugh. So I'm just gonna do something
Purple crayon.
simple. See, this is gonna be really weak, but that's okay. I'm gonna go change it later, it's not. Okay, oh, mismatch. That's another reason I like LastPass. Don't ever have to worry about that. Oh, it's not letting me even go back. Here we go, let's try again. Okay, it's very weak, I already know that. Send this password to the new user via email, so it'll send you your login, which is what you want. But don't keep it in your email. just use it. How I do is anytime you keep passwords in your browser, in your email, and you don't have it in a secure vault situation like LastPass or something else, you're just, somebody could get into your email and that's not secure. Okay, so role, you want to assign the role of administrator. When you're throwing away the pancake, you want to assign the role of administrator because only administrator can get rid of a user. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to go ahead and make this new user. Now, add new user. So, I love Candy Canes 9. Again, I wouldn't have to worry about this if I were home, but I love Candy Canes with an S, 9, and then I have my very weak password. Add new user. Error, you must choose a password that's okay. So, this is one of the things that we did with iThemes already. So when we did those default things, that one click, I want to make these changes. One of the things that was automated was you are requiring new users to have strong passwords. So basically, this just told us the plugin was doing its job because it's not even going to let me set up a user unless I have a difficult password. So I'm just going to explain what you do here, all right? So let's say I have this crazy hard password. Now I log out. Then I'm going to log back in with this new user. Go to my users panel. In that case, I'm going to see 2. I'm going to see the Maxi Mooch, and then I'm going to see I Love Candy Canes 9. I'm going to delete Maxi Mooch. So that or in this case, we're pretending that it says admin. I'm going to delete admin. I've taken care of 2 problems. I've taken care of the admin and the user login, and I've taken care of the ID equals 1. Okay? Super important. Super important. First step. That's the first step after you do these automatic things. The other thing that we want to do, real quick here, see the user 1 ID still exists. See this one, the second one right here? Once I do what I just told you to do, that's going to go away. Once we get rid of Maxi Mooch. Does that make sense? So basically when I created, this is a brand new WordPress install, when I created my account, the first email that I chose wasn't admin for my username. I chose Maxi Mooch 1. This is the first user, Maxi Mooch 1. Took care of the admin problem because I already know that's a problem. But the software is telling me you have 1 user. It's assigned number 1. You have to get rid of number 1 and go from 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Because having a user with the ID of 1 is a vulnerability with WordPress. These bots are like, hey, do you have an ID number 1? Do you have an ID number 1? Do you have an ID number 1? Oh, yes, you do. Okay, we're going to get you.
And that's what your Maxi Mooch
It's ID number 1.
So you have to redo that one too, so essentially you're making 2 new.
Actually,
you go through this process twice.
well, no, because usually you take care of the admin and the number 1 at the same time, because the default is almost always going to be admin when you do a new WordPress install. With my host, when I created my WordPress install, it allowed me to create a username.
I think mine did too.
So they're doing that more now. It used to be we're just gonna give you admin. A
Okay.
lot of them still just automatically admin. So we took care of that, but we didn't take care of the ID.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we're gonna fix that. Website is not protected against, consider turning on for. So basically what you do is you just go through your list and you say, okay, fix it. Okay, here's a good one. There's a couple of ones here. The back end protection so that you can't go to WP/admin. You want to change that. And that is, there's two things here that are really important. See this one that says your WordPress dashboard is available 24/7? Do you really need to have it available 24 hours a day? The answer is no. Unless you're a night owl and like I'm a professional blogger and I need to have, you know, I like to blog at 2 a.m. so I need to have it available at 2 o'clock in the morning. No, you know, the back end, that login, let it go to sleep. So what I do with all my client sites is I know they're not going to be working on their site at night, and probably don't even need access until 8 o'clock in the morning, if then, because most of them don't do regular updates all the time. I wish they did. But, so with this one, you can say, this is really cool. You can say, okay, I don't want that back end available. Enter away mode. I want to make it unavailable. Where did I go? Here. One thing to look for before you do this. See what the time says? What time does it say?
7:53 p.m.
And it's not.
Wednesday,
Right.
June 11th.
Right. This is really important on the away mode. The time is wrong. So if I set this to be not available between, let's say, 6 p.m. and 8 a.m., I'm probably immediately logged out. So what I need to do is go to my, I think it's just in the general settings here.
Oh yeah, right there, date format.
There we go, right here. And I always just look for Vancouver, since I know that's our time. There's so many, like, Mexico City. Vancouver. Okay. Save. Changes. Go back to security.
But your site will still be up, you just won't be able to make changes to your.
Well, if you log out, you won't be able to log back in because you can't find the back end.
But I'm saying like your site would
Oh,
still be
yeah.
active.
Yes, yes, you're right. And you'd be able to do stuff as long as you were in, but if you logged out and your back end was hidden, you couldn't log back in until it was available again. I mean, there are ways that you can find, that you don't want to do that. So here, now fix it. We go here, enable away mode, and now let's take a look at the clock. And it says 12:55, June 11th. Okay, now, I want to say, I want the start time when my site shut down to be 8 p.m. and I want it available at 8 a.m. and I want to save the change. Fine. So now, starting at 8 p.m., the back end's hidden and it doesn't become available. As a second step to security, however, let's go back to the dashboard, and we want to hide the WP admin. And this is the last one I'm going to show you because we're running out of time. But you can see how many things we've taken care of. Most of the high priority items automatically by doing that one click. We have to change. Plus, we have to change the admin and the ID number 1. Those are super important. We've enforced crazy strong passwords, so that's important. You go through these and you fix all of these. Let me find the one that says, okay, here it says consider purchasing Backup Buddy. WordPress dashboard, this is the one. WordPress dashboard is using the default address, which is what?
admin.
WP hyphen admin, right, right. We're gonna change it. We can change it to anything we want. Come on. This computer doesn't like me. Just not even listening here, sorry. Wish I had my Mac. Okay, here we go. It didn't take me to the right place. Anyway, we've done away mode. I think it's, let me just show you this, banned users. Enable banned users. This is where we can put IP addresses of those icky hackers that are trying to get in our site. We enable, one of the things is we enable notifications. When we get those notifications, we take those IP addresses, we copy and paste them in here, one line at a time. That other one where we can change the back end, basically we're able to, enable change file detection. Sorry, I really need my own computer, but my Mac doesn't work with this thing, so that's why we're using this one. So there's all these different things that you can do. So enable file change detection, that sends you an email every time any files are changed. Now, if you've been in there and you've been doing stuff, then you go, okay, yeah, of course. But if things have changed, you're not the one doing it, then you might want to investigate. So, just tons and tons of great things. When you hide the back end, like I have one where you can just think anything up. You can do your website / and then it's not WP admin, you can do / Chamber of Commerce. You can do anything you want. Who's going to find that? Right? And that's your new login. You just have to remember to put it somewhere safe because it's just like saving a password, right? So now you've got this crazy password, you've got a good username, you've got a login that probably nobody's going to find, and even if they do, it's not even available on the internet anywhere between certain hours of the day. So you've just, these are the kind of things that are just so easy to do, but you've got to take the time to do them. And that's pretty much it. So all of there are a couple of things that you don't want to do because you'll break your site if you already have data. And it will be a really expensive fix. And those are both in the Advanced tab here.
Under security and then advanced?
Yes, you can do it on a fresh WordPress install only. And these are the two. Change content directory. Just like the login is WP-admin as a default, and the user is admin as the default. These are very well-known concepts. The files, your data files, your theme files, your content files, are all stored at your host level in big file folders, all with file folders starting with WP-. Everybody knows this. The world knows this. So, if you have a fresh install and you don't have any data on your site yet, you can actually change that to something else. You can change it to XY- or ST- or XYZ-. Nobody's ever going to find that content because when these two things right here. Don't do these. Change content directory from WP content to something else. Don't do that. And don't do change database prefix. Those are both things that mess up the hackers because they will never be able to find files because they're looking for WP-, and that will not exist anymore. But once you already have data in your database, you can't do that.
Okay, so the first one was don't change content, and the second was don't change what?
And don't change the things under your advanced tab, basically, except for the only one that you can change under the advanced tab is enable change, what is this one? Changing, yes. So this one, enable change admin user, this is the one that it will allow us to change that user ID of one, which we're going to do anyway. There's a couple different ways to do it. One is just going into the user panel, creating a new second user, assigning an admin level to that user, logging back in as the second admin, deleting the first one. That's the other way to do it. So lots of great stuff here. Isn't that amazing? Now, one of the things you can do once you have this plugin, you see where it says logs, and you click there. Once you start getting activity, this could be your activity, or this could be somebody trying to hack in activity. You'll see it all under logs. And there's nothing here. This thing isn't moving very fast. Okay, so you'll see like down here, let's see if we, okay, here, database, sorry, here, database backup executed. We did that, remember? We did that just a little while ago where it said, do you want to back up the database? Yes.
Yeah.
So your actions, you'll also see hacking. If somebody's trying to get into your site, you'll see all the different ways. Like I had a brute force attack on one of my client sites, and so I went in and had, we changed that we enabled some of these things. They were trying to log in, the back end wasn't hidden, and so they were trying to just use admin. They typed it in over and over and over again. Admin, crazy password, admin, different password, admin, different password, over and over and over and over and over again. And it all showed up here. So I'm like, oh, I need to do that for you. Okay, let's go ahead and fix that. And that activity stopped. It's crazy. We had to hide the back end so that they couldn't find the form anymore, so that they would quit doing that. Because what happens is these error files can bloat your database, and then you have to get rid of all these error logs and just clean everything out, because that can cause problems for you too. So that's a lot of information packed into an hour and 5 minutes. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, let me give you my card. Feel free to call me. There's and iThemes has a website too. Once you get this, there's a little 3-minute video. Once you install and activate the plugin, there's a little video that you can watch, and then you can go to their site too to get more questions answered. Any questions that I haven't answered, or any confusion that I've caused?
Well, I'm just a little teeny bit confused on the issue of WordPress and iThemes. So,
okay.
is iThemes the website builder, or?
iThemes is a company that provides high-end plugins, like the security plugin, like Backup Buddy. So you can buy,
Okay,
and also themes.
WordPress is the one that actually builds the
WordPress is
website.
software. WordPress is just a free open source software that you can install once you have a host account.
For what reason would you want to install it?
To build a website.
That's what I thought.
It does all the coding that you and I probably don't know how to do.
Right.
It does it for you
Okay.
with human language, not
No, I understand.
Yes.
bot language.
Yeah.
That was my original understanding, but I just got a little bit confused. I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Good.
So
Glad you
thank
asked.
you. Yeah, that was very informative. I do appreciate it.
Good. All right.
So
I'm gonna
we're
go take a
done,
nap.
okay?